So we are going to continue with the grid system that we started um, last class. No, this is not it. Grid. So in the last class, we we treated we started grid and we stopped at display. Did I talked about, yes, I talked about grid template columns, grid template rows, and grid template. Yes or no, Joshua?
Pardon?
I said in the last class, I talked about display property, the grid template columns property, the grid template rows property, and the grid template property. Yes or no?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. So, and also I remember that I talked about row gap and gap. So we stopped at justify items. Now, just to recap, to to have a grid, something like this, right? So it's better I do a fresh whiteboard. Now, this, let's say this is your container. Container can be anything, maybe body, div, header, whatever section element you want to use. So now, what grid does is that you can divide your page into sections as you wish. And that is the reason why I say that Flexbox and layout and grid are very are very good tools that one can use to do layout in HTML. Now, let's say I want to divide this into this section where I have my menu, right? And and I want to divide this into, say, footer, for example, footer where you can have your email, social medias like Facebook, Instagram, and so on and so forth. Then you can now divide this, say, into two, where you have your articles. You can have an article here, right? So now this is a layout, and this can easily be achieved using Grid and or Flexbox. And I'm by the time we get to a level, what I'm going to do is this: I'm going to give the class this assignment, something like this. First, it will be in two phases. The first phase is to use Flexbox to design this. In fact, it's going to be in three phases. Three. The first one is to use um, any section, any element, maybe float or positioning to achieve this. Any method apart aside Flexbox and Grid, you use that to achieve this. Then the second phase is to use just Flexbox. And the third is to use just grid. So this is the assignment I have for the class in a short while. So now, coming back to grid, yes, grid. Now, you can divide, let me clean this internal division first. So let's say we have our container as shown. Now, what grid is doing is this. You can decide to divide the container into columns like so, and even into rows like so. So in this in this layout, we have one, two, three, four columns, and one, two, three, four rows. Four rows. And the beauty of this is that you can even, just like table, if you remember table, you can collapse um you can collapse columns and rows. Say, let's say for example, normally if I can collapse these four columns into one, such that I will have something like this. So that simply means that these four columns, one, two, three, and four, they have been collapsed together to form just a single row, like so. Sorry, single cell rather. Now, I can now decide that okay, I only want two of these columns here, one and two, to collapse together with this second and third row, like so. And I can decide to have um say um only uh, three and four columns and the second row together. So I want a single cell here. So you can see that I've collapsed one and two here, one and two columns together here. I've collapsed it into one. And here I collapse one column, two column, and two rows, one row and two rows together here to form this big cell. About if you look at this first row, it's only row one, and I've collapsed what, four columns together. One, two, three, four columns. So I have one cell here. Now, I can decide to now also dig this one like so. So I have two columns collapse here, one and two into one cell here. And here I have how many columns collapse? This is one column and two columns, and I have one row and two rows. So two columns and two rows collapse into one. So I have four columns collapse here, one cell, two columns collapse here, another cell. Here I have two columns, one, two, and two rows collapse together here to form a single cell. And I have two columns and two rows collapse also here to have this a single cell. And this one, I have two columns and only two columns collapse here to have that cell. So what am I trying to say? Every every intersection of what, of columns and row. Let's say this is three columns and two rows. One, two, three columns and one, two rows. So this is a cell. This is a cell. This is a cell. This is a cell. This is a cell, and this is a cell. Please mute yourself, please. So this is a cell, a cell, a cell, a cell, a cell. But if, on the other hand, I tried to collapse, say now, instead of let me clean out this one. I have that 1, 2 there, and I have 2 here. Now, instead of me dividing everything, I want to collapse these three columns, 1, 2, 3 columns into one. So I can collapse everything into one, and I can decide to collapse only these two into one. So this is also a cell after I've collapsed three columns, and this is also one cell after I've collapsed two columns. Remember, this is one column and two columns. This is a single column and a single row. Is there any question on what I've just described about the cell? That should not be strange to you. It's just the same concept taken out of tables. Any question?
No.
Okay, so now if I go back to the main screen, and we have this, at least you can still recollect what we did here. So now we are at the point of we like I said earlier on, we have discussed um display grid template columns, and grid template rows, grid template column gap, and row gap. So, and this one, because this is the shorthand for these two. So now let's talk about justified items. Justified items, I want you to pay close attention. You can see that in grid we have justified items and justify content. Unlike in Flexbox, we only have justify content. There's nothing like justify items. So what is the difference between these justify items and justify content? Now, I just explained the cell to you. Let me go back for emphasis sake. You have, let's say, 3 columns and 2 rows. This is a cell. Whatever item that is here, whatever item inside each of this cell, if you want to move them around within this cell, that is when you will use the justify items, align items, those two, justify items, align items. The place items is the shorthand for these two, as we shall see later. So I repeat, justify items, align items. If you want to move the content, the item within this cell, you want to align, maybe align to start, or you want to align to end, or you want to center it, you use justify items and align items. So let me go back to the main screen. So now let us put back the grid columns and grid rows in this because I think we removed it in the last class. Yes. So now we have how many items? 9 items, right? And we have this container, and we have applied grid to this container, and we apply border to it just to um, give us a sense of what is going on. If you see border, or maybe I should make it some kind of color. Okay, let me make it red to make it obvious, and I'm going to make it somehow thicker. 3. So now we have that border right there. Now, if I put back my grid templates, columns and row, I'm going to have 3 rows and sorry, 3 rows and 3 columns. So 400 pixels for each of the column and 200 pixels for, or maybe I should make it the same size so that we can, let's make it the same size. So let's preview what we have. Okay, it appears big. You can see it has gone beyond the container. So let's reduce it. So say 200. Let's say 200 and 200. Okay. All right. It's still within the container. So this is fine. Now, justify item. Let me apply justify item to because it is what a container, you can see a container property, justify item. So let's apply justify item right inside here, justify items. And you can see that it has auto. Let's see what auto is. One of them is default, which I think auto is. So let's apply auto and see what effect that has on our page. You can see everything lies where the, at their initial position, no movement at all. So auto is the default, and let me see whether I note it down somewhere. That is justify items, justify items. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, I think this one is justify content. Yes, justify item is along. Yes, yes, but there's nothing about default here. So the default is actually auto. Now, if I want to make it center, I can change it to center, and let's see the effect of that. Now, I want you to look at what is going on. Okay, before let me change it so that, let me comment it out. Now, I'm going to mark the edges. Let me mark the edges. Let me see how far I can go through. Or let me use black color instead of red. Maybe that one will be black. Yes, I think it's better. I want to mark the grid lines so that you see. Don't mind my drawing. It's not easy to draw with the mouse like that. Let me see if I can use my hand. That's much better. Aha. I think that's fair enough. Okay. So now let me go back to apply the justify items. Remember, these are the items. Just remember, these are the items, the colors, and we have given each of them colors. Now, if I put back the justify item center, look at what is going on. It has turned everything to go to be aligned at the center of each cell. Can you see that the items are right at the center of each cell? That is what justify item is doing. It will try to align it within that cell, within each of the cells, and is doing it in the what horizontal manner. Is doing it along the horizontal axis. Remember that Flexbox. Let me go to the whiteboard. If you can recollect, Flexbox is one dimensional. One dimensional in the sense that it is either along the x-axis, which is also the main. If we are talking about row, flex direction of row, or is in the column if you are talking about flex direction of what column. So it's just one directional. Is this way or that way. However, grid is two-dimensional. You can see that we have the rows and we have the columns together in grid. Now, in Flexbox, if you can recollect, Flexbox, once you define your display property, and the default is row, as we know, default is row, then your justify content will always go in the main axis, if you can recollect. So main axis. But in grid, justify item, justify content always go in the horizontal direction. Whereas the align item, align items and align content goes in the vertical direction. Now, if I go back to the screen, you will see that in the vertical direction, the content kind of stretched from top to the end. Oh, I've cleaned away that those marks. I've cleaned them out. Okay, no problem. So now you can see that it stretches from the top of the cell to the bottom of the cell. That is because the default value for align item is stretch. If I go to the code now, if I apply align item and I say stretch, you will see that there is no change whatsoever there. But if I say flex start, or just start also, okay, yeah, I think it's flex start, yes. You will see that it will go to the top. You can see the default behavior of align items is stretch. The default behavior of justify item is auto. So now you can see, let me try and draw, let me comment these two out. Let me try and put back those, because I want you to view those cells. Okay, maybe I can, let me see whether I can put it in a, okay, let me see, can I do this? Where is element? Let me see what I can do here so that there won't be need for me to be redrawing and indrawing. Where is that grid? Okay. Oh, it's not visible enough. It's not visible enough. There should be a grid line, but it's not visible enough. Okay, let me just go back. So let me just draw the lines again. I won't, because I want you to see it as, to see the behavior. Okay. So now if I go back to apply the properties, now you can see it's at the center horizontally and it's gone up. The flex starts in the vertical direction. Now, if I apply center to this, you will see it going to the center, both horizontally and vertically within that box. Flex, that's justify items, align items. Is there any question? Is
No,
there
sir.
no question? Now, I want to ask you a question. I want everything to be at this corner. The no. Oh yeah, at this edge. The top right hand corner. I want it to be here. I want it here. Each of the items at that top right hand corner of their cells. So how do I do it? Top right hand corner. I want answers. Okay, you want me to call names, and that I'm going to do. Feromi. Feromi.
Yes,
Feromi.
sir.
Yes. I want you to tell me the answer to my question.
So what's your question?
Wow, you were not listening? Okay. Mary,
Sir.
what's the answer to my question?
Sir, can I see the code?
Okay. This is the code. If you
I
are
like
look,
item.
if you are looking for options, justify item value options, start, end, center, stretch.
That's, yeah. Justify content should be end.
Okay, justify content in item, you mean? Justify items.
Yeah.
Should be end, okay. Let me type that first. So justify items, end. I think okay, let me type end and see. I think because there's flex and there's end. Let me see. So end, So what about align items?
Align item should be flex start.
Start. Okay, let me see. Start. Okay, so let's check the browser. Correct. So that is correct. Thank you, Mary. Now, my next question is this. I want, instead of this items to be at the top right hand corner, I want it to be at the bottom left corner right here. Bottom left corner. So I want each of the item to be right at this bottom left corner. Bottom left corner of their individual cells. Bottom left corner. Who can give it a try before I start calling names? Joshua, do you want to try? Oh, okay. Who, who is talking now?
Mary, sir.
No, you have answered. You have answered. Let's give others an opportunity. Joshua, do you want to give it a try?
No.
No. Okay. Feromi, do you want to give another shot? Feromi, do you want to try again? Okay. Ewa Jesu.
Yes, sir.
So do you want to try again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me what to do.
We should use position.
Let me go to the code. Okay. You want to see the values? I'm waiting.
Align items.
Okay, what's the value for align items? What value am I inserting into align items?
To be at this, we're gonna put end.
And then what about the justify items? Justify items. I'm waiting.
Start.
You said what?
Start.
I did not get that.
Start.
Top.
No, start.
Start. Okay. Good. So you can see horizontally, justify item moves either to the start, center, or end, or it stretches, covers everywhere, which is also the auto. Then justify items moves vertically, either the start, the center, and the end, or it stretches default value. So now, having understood the concept of well, let me use the word understood because am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It seems I had
Yes, sir.
a glitch in my network just now. All right, so let me minimize them. Okay. Let me present again. It's like I had a glitch in my network. Okay, so now let me quickly um okay, I don't think I need it again anyway. So now let's discuss about place items. Place item is the shorthand for these two. We can see here. Place item is a shorthand for align items and justify items. So what that is saying that instead of me typing justify items and place item, I just will have easily done this. So align item first, end, and start. I can now delete these two. So if I go back to the browser, you see that no change whatsoever. But if I do center and center, you will see it going to the center of the cell. Now, because the two are the same value, I can just type only a single value and I will still have the same effect. If I type end to the two, end this simply means that align item, let's draw it a, oh, okay, it's black. Let me change it back to, let me change the color. Where's the color again? Color. So now let's say this is a cell. So what this is doing is that the align item, which is vertical, is right at the bottom here, and justify item, which is horizontally, we move it from this bottom down here. Let me repeat. We have place item, which means that this single value means that justify item is end. Sorry, align item is end and justify item is end. First, it will move the item down here, end, because vertically end. Then once it gets to this other justify item, it will now shift this one down to the end horizontally. So this is the final destination where that will be. If you go to the browser, you see that is exactly where it is. So I hope that is clear now before we go to the next property. Any question before we go to the next property?
No, sir.
Good. Now, let's go to the next property, which is justify content, align content, place content. They are the same. Let me check my time. Okay. Now, these three also work together, just like justify items, align items, and place item. Place content is a shorthand for these two. If you look at somewhere here, place content is a shorthand for align content and justify content. Now, what is the difference between justify content and align justify item? Unlike justify items, which moves the item within the cell, justify justify content will move everything within the container. So let me comment out the place items first. Now we have it as it was initially. So what justify content is doing is this: it will move everything together. It will move it around this container horizontally. It will move it horizontally. That's justify content. And align content will move it vertically within this container. So if I say justify content end, it will move everything as a whole. All the content, it will move it to the end, like so. Let us practicalize what I just described now. So let's go back to the code. If I do justify content end, you can see it moved everything within the container to the end horizontally. If I want to move it downward vertically, all I need to do is to now say align content end also to move it down. You can see this is the end of the container. This is the beginning of the container. So the top, the bottom, the left, and the right. Therefore, if I want to center this all these items right at the center, all I need to do is justify content to the center first, or whichever one I want to choose. If I want to do align content to the center, I move it here, then justify content to the center, it will now come down here. So if I first of all do, let me remove this value, and I say center, it will move it to the center vertically. You can see it is at the center vertically. So if I now do justify content center, it will now move this everything to the center right here. So if I just copy and paste, it will move it down there. You can see. So justify content, align content moves all the items within the container, and I can even do space around, space in between. So let's say I want to, let me just comment out this first. Let me comment out, let's say, okay, let me comment out one. So so this is center. Now let's say I want to do space. Let me see whether that value is there. It should be the space between. So it will space each of the item out. As you can see, everything is still within the container. And I can do just like flex box, space around. You can see, you just like Flexbox, you see that the space here is 50% of the space here. 50% means half. So if this is like 10 pixels, then this must be 5 pixels. So the space in between the items, like say if for example it's 10 pixels, 10 pixels, at the end is 5 pixels, 5 pixels. So you can just move things around as you wish within the container. Is there any question? Is there any question? Ask your question before I ask my question. Is there any question before I ask my question?
No, sir.
Okay, Demola, I want you to tell me how to move this content down to this, let's say, yeah, I want it here. I want this box, this item to be here. So what do I do? Demola. Are you there, Demola? Ademola, I'm waiting for your answer. If
Okay, so
okay,
uh, do you use
do you use question?
place items or justify content?
You asked me a question. You're not giving me an answer.
Hello?
I'm with you. I can hear you. You are asking me a question. Do you use justify content or that's a question you're asking me. I'm the one asking the question here. So you give
Um,
me a response. So what do you think you should do? Hmm? Just say something. Ewa Jesu, can you try? It's a yes or no answer. Can
Good
you
evening,
try?
sir.
Good evening, Ewa Jesu. Can you attempt?
Okay, I think justify content
Mm-hmm. What?
and
Okay, justify content and let me go to the code. Okay, hold on. Let me remove this pen. Justify content and okay. Is that all? Or you want to see your code?
yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So that is what you have there, but it's still not where I want it to be.
So I'm not saying okay. Then align content
Align content, mhm,
center.
center. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Ewajesu. All right, so because of our time, think it is safe for me to, okay, now before I say I close the lesson today, I'm going to talk about place content. Like I said, is a shorthand for both align items and justify items. Let me clear my screen first. Come on, where are you? Okay, clear. So if I come here and I say place content, and remember in place content, it is align content first. If I do center, then end. If I delete these two out, you will see that nothing will change. Hmm? No, something is wrong. I didn't do something right. Oh, look at Snita. 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 Okay, so you can see nothing changed. So place content is a shorthand for both align item and align content and justify content. I hope that is clear. Is there any question from any quarters?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to stop here today. I'm stopping at place content. So in our next class, I'm going to continue with grid, auto columns, auto row, and auto flow. Then we see what we can do in the grid items. So now that is that. So and we need to go back and continue our Zoom assignment that we were doing then in last week, which, let me close this one at that point. I think we stopped right here. Let me preview again. Yes, we stopped here. Mary, are you there? Let me see. Yeah, she's there. Mary,
Sir,
yes, you did this homework, right? I remember you did this homework.
yes, sir.
Okay, I want you to present it again. Let me see. I want to see something there. Yes, sir.
My system.
Is that?
I'm with my system right now.
Oh,
I travel, so I
okay. That's fine. Eh, okay. David, did you do this assignment then?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, you didn't do it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Demola, did you do the assignment that time? Ademola, did you do this assignment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to present. I want to check something in that work. Let me give you control. Make host. Yes, Demola, you have the floor. I want to see something. Let me just see something there. I cannot remember whether I checked it the last time you all presented it.
Okay, sir. You said I should present the Zoom assignment or
Yes,
the
the
one
Zoom
we just did?
assignment. Yes, the one you did. Present it. The Zoom. Run it in a browser. Okay. Now I want to see the version, the one at the bottom, the one with that what's it called? Version 5.16.110. Where is it? You
I
didn't put
didn't.
it. Okay, you didn't
No.
do that. Okay. Now the next thing I want to see is the responsiveness of your design. Can you reduce the viewport? Further?
That's as far as it goes.
Okay. Okay, this is fine. Okay. Now, let me see your code. Let me see your code. Okay, you used table. Go to the HTML structure. HTML. Oh, okay, you used table. Okay. Form table. Okay, that's fine. All right. I'm going to take control back. We are learning Flexbox. So this is Flexbox. And you are still going to redo that work with grid. So let me present again. So we stopped at this level. Now let us go back to our model and do some level of analysis again. Now, you observe that this is a bit, there's a space between that version 5.16 and the border here, right? Obviously, we can see the space here. Obviously, we can see the space here also. And everything is center aligned, right? Center aligned. So, and then there's also obviously space in between these three guys. So let us go back to the code. So, and see our structure again. Now, I gave this outer container, right? And this inner container, if you remember. So I can, it is usually a good practice to give the items their names also. Let me just type everything once. You type every, what? What did I do now? Okay. So I'm going to type everything at the, no. Come on now. Oh, why are you disturbing my page? So I have, no. Class. So I'm going to give it inner container items. So then maybe later I can give each of them their own individual, but I need to group them together using a class. Then this one too, this is the items for the outer container. Remember, this outer container is housing 1, 2, and 3 items. So let me give that also a common. Let me see. Do I need to do this? Well, okay, let me just do it first. So I do outer container items. So I'm giving them classes so that I can be able to target them very well. So now I'm going to do one more thing. Why am I doing this? I want you to listen carefully. Because of this space here, right? I need to put the entire container here into another container so that I can give a space right here. Because if not, I will not be able to get out this space here. So I'm going to wrap everything up inside a div. Div. Let me just cut this out and paste down there. Going to indent this one. Then I'm going to call this, we'll give you a class of, say, main container. All right. So let's let's see our product. Now I want to, first of all, move things around, right? So what I will do here first is I'm going to change the background color to this main container. Remember, everything is being housed by this container, main container. So I'm going to write a class for that, dot main container. Then I will move this background out of here into this guy here, because I want it to be the full container. Yes, for that. Then, as we normally do, I will create borders because I want to see how the behavior of our elements. Border black. Okay, let me do this one red so that I can differentiate. So let me see. Yes, that is red. Then I'm going to do a border here too. Okay, I've done border here already for this. Let me take it out. Let me take it to the beginning so that I can delete easily anytime I want to delete. So I'm going to change, the border is there already, black there. So I will reduce the size of this one. Let me make this guy say 90%. Let me do 90% of the pivot port. Yes, that has reduced. Then I will do this one to say 80%. Yes, now this is the border of this outer container. I hope I've not lost you guys. This outer container, this one, right, is the content of this main container. So this is the main container, the red box, and this is the what? The outer container. So now I need to center this outer container at this center it right in between, within my main container. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the main container, right? At the moment, let me change the color. At the moment, this is my outer container, like so, right? But I want it not to be at I want it to be at the center. This is what I'm saying. Let me change the color. So this is my main container, right? And I want the outer container to be something at the center. So that simply means that I'm going to also reduce the width of this. I've reduced the height of this height to 80%. I'll reduce the width of this one also. So let us go back to the code. Oh, come on. Clear the screen. So let me reduce the width of this main container. So let's say width. Let's say 90 viewport width. Let's try that out. Okay, that's fine. So now let us center it. If I want to center that container or both horizontally and vertically, I will need to make these what's it called, these main container a flex itself. Remember, it's a container. Look at here. This is the main container. It's a container for this or everything inside it. So I'm going to make it a flex also. So where is it? So I'm going to make it a flex here. Display flex. Then I'm going to make it to justify content to go horizontal. Justify content center. So this is now center horizontally. Now I want to make it to center vertically. So I will do align content. No, so align item rather. Center. So now I have that at the center. Is there any question in what I just did? Any question?
No, sir.
Good. Now, look at this main container itself. This main container, look at this main container. This is the main container. Am I right? Am I right? I want answers. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to be sure that I've not lost you. So this is the main container. So and now this main container is right within the what? The body elements itself, right? The body element. because I want the main container itself to be at the center also of the page. So what I will do is I will make this body itself another flex. Body, display, flex. If I preview, nothing will happen because I've not actually, okay, something actually happened. So I've not centered it. So now I'm going to use the same property here, justify content and align item here to center it. Why is it not okay? Because I've not set the width, the height. Now, the main content I set to 90% viewport out. So I'm going to set the height of this to 100% viewport height. So now it is centered. This is what I want. Right? Is there any question?
No, sir.
Good. Now, you observe that the moment I've centered the main container, the outer container, which is the black one, has gone back to the edge of this one, right? But let's even leave it at that. That one is not a concern. So now I need to push this to the ground here, to the floor here, and I need to push this one up here. So what can I do? What can I do? So I'm going to give each of these a border. I want to see what is going on in there also. Because like I always say, it is better to put everything in a border so that you can do your layout very well. So I have zoom, this content and this other one there. So I'm going back to the HTML. So I'm going to this outer sorry, not this one. Outer container items. I'll put everything inside what? A border. So let me just copy everything since they are the same. So let me just say here dot outer container items. I will say border. I want to see what is going on so that we know how to style my document. I will say black. So now I have them in a border, right? So now for me to be able to do justice to each of them, I need to put them, to give them some kind of height, maybe so that I can align because if I put this in a box, remember, if I put this one in a box here, and this other one also in its own box right there, and this other one in its own box, right? I can use test align to center it here, test align, center, and test align to center. I can do anything with it. So now, let us do some little calculation. Now, I want, if I go back to the model, you observe that the height of this one is kind of bigger than any of this one. So what I will do is that let me give this one I think a flex of 1, and this one 1.5, and this one 1. Now, there's no way I can do this ratio decimal point in CSS. So remember from your mathematics, if I want to convert this now to an integer, all I need to do is multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, the same factor. So this will now give me 2, 3, and 2. So I'm going to use flex flex of 2 here, flex of 3 here, and flex of 2 here. I want to see the effect first. So let's go. Oh, let me clear my screen. 2, 3, and 2. So this is the item within that container. So let me clean up. So I go to the code. I will come here. I want to give this guy a flex of 2, this one a flex, everything here a flex of 3 and 2. So I have zoom, inner container, and footer. I have footer here, so flex of 2. Then inner container, this one, inner container flex of 3, and zoom. I think I have zoom somewhere here, this one here. It's a flex of 2. Let me see what that will give me. So where is the browser? Okay, yes. This is exactly what I want, but I'm surprised this is not changing. Why is that so? Is anyone here with any idea why is that this join meeting, this container not moving? Why? Okay, look at where
I
I
think
typed it.
maybe
Look at where I typed it. I typed
Yeah.
it inside inner container of P descendant. So I'm going to take it out. Inner container, it should be here. So let's go back. Good. This is what I want. Israel, you just joined the class.
Sir.
What happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have 12
Yes,
more
sir.
minutes.
I'm sorry. Like I'm having issue with this.
Okay, no problem. We have 12 more minutes to close this class. This
Sir,
is
sir, I want to ask you a question.
okay. Go ahead, please. If you have a question, pause me and ask. Don't wait until I say, "And is there any question?" Please be free. Pause and ask the question. Go ahead, Israel.
Sir, the flex the enumeration for the flex, like flex 1, flex 3, I do not really understand, sir.
But we have treated it.
It seems new to me.
No, it's not new. We treated it in the Flexbox class. Wow.
Same here, sir.
Okay, same here too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you imagine? Feromi, the chess homework, don't worry, I'm going to demand for it. Don't worry. If you have done it, just keep it. I will ask. Right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Wow. I need to go back then to explain the flex. I need to go back because I don't know why you guys missed it. Or is it not in the... It's there now. See, flex. I treated it. I know I treated it. Okay. How am I going to do this? Okay, now I'm going to pause this one here. So we'll continue from here in our next class. Please, I want you to take note of it so that it won't be as if I've changed anything. See, I'm doing it real life here, so that you can see my own errors. See, there's no one that is perfect. Me teaching you once in a while, you will see me, I will see me even go back to my documentation. This is my documentation. This is mine. I compile this. It's for myself.
So we can't see your screen. Okay.
You can't see my screen? You can't see this? You can't see all these flex site property, item property, order.
Just pop up now. Just pop up now.
Okay, it's your network then. So now, see, I develop many things in different forms for myself because the brain is so complex that there are many things that the brain is handling, and things you don't use frequently, it will just pack them to one corner. Not that you've forgotten. Yes, if I use the word forget, yes, that might be correct, but it's a temporal loss of memory at that point in time. But it is still there in your brain. You will know that yes, you have seen flex before, you have seen flex basis. So, but maybe I've forgotten the values, right? That is, but I know where to go to fetch them. So once I go back there, easily I just fetch it. That is what the brain is. The brain is not, the purpose of the brain is not to kind of store everything there and you remember everything. No, the brain is not meant for, it's not designed for that. The brain is meant to make reference to things. I can bet with you some of those things, maybe some of you in the university now, maybe in year 4, I can bet with you some of those things that you did in year 1, you have forgotten. But there is a way you can make reference back to what you learned in year 1. And the moment you carry it or you take that storage system, everything comes back almost immediately. That is what the brain is for. Please make reference for your something like Jota. Just make your references, please. So I'm going to stop here on this so that we won't distort this one. Okay, so let's go back. How many minutes do I have now? Can I cover this? 7 more minutes. Okay, this is what I will do. And once it's 8 o'clock, those that want to leave can leave. If you want to stay, you can stay, right? The recording will be there again for you to review. Now, flex property is a shorthand for this. Where's my pencil again? Come on. Is a shorthand for this 3. This one is a shorthand for this. If you come here, you will see it. Shorthand for flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis. So the next question is, do you understand what flex grow is? Do you understand what flex shrink is? And do you understand what flex basis is? That's the question now. Right? So if I want to ask Israel, what is flex basis? Israel is gone again. The person that has a question. Okay, no problem. Mary, what is flex basics? There's no shame. If you don't know, you don't know. Just say it. I can't remember. Is Mary there? Mary.
Sir, I'm here.
You're not talking. Flex basis. Do you know what that is?
No, sir.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay. Is there anyone in the class who remembers what flex grow, flex shrink, flex basis is?
So I only know flex basis.
Okay, what is flex basis?
It sets like an initial size.
initial size, initial width size. If you say that, yes, I will agree with you. Is an
Yeah.
initial width size, right? Now, is there anyone who wants to contribute again? Flex. Let me see. Let's see.
Yes, yeah. I said what I
Oh, Israel is back. Okay, let's use this one. Let me see. Container, items, red, okay. Let me remove. You see, can you see flex one here? It shows I explained this thing that time. Yeah, you guys have forgotten. I can see. Please flex one here. Flex grow flex string, because there's no way I won't explain flex without explaining flex grow. I must have explained everything. But all the same, let me just delete it. Delete everything. Let me delete this one too. This is taking us, okay, 1, 2, 3. Then what's trans? What is trans? Why do I have trans here? What is trans?
maybe because you use it for
For what?
the class.
Yeah,
Class.
I understand, but let me just take it out because I can't remember the reason why I used it. So let me just limit it to these flex items and container. Okay, now if I remove, let me remove everything here first. This is the default behavior of HTML elements. Am I right? Right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Aha. Remember, they are
Yes, sir.
stacked on top of each other, and it's a block level element, right? So now,
Yes.
because
Yes, sir.
I'm coming, I hope there's no other side. Okay, no other side again. Now, if I now make this guy flex, display flex, the container, remember it is on the container now. So everything
Yes, sir.
turn into what? Inline, right? If you check this content here, I am not I've not specified anything. Maybe flex groove. No, I've not specified anything yet. But if you check the minimum width here, right, is the what? The content width. This one. Let me make it known. Let me make it obvious. Red letter. This one. The content width. And the content width is a function of the content from the word content, like this content now, right? So for this content, the max width is when everything is lined up side by side. However, the minimum width is when you get to the longest word. In this case, let me clear this. Look at this word here is the longest. By the time you squeeze, right, it will come down to this, the length of this, the width of this, and it cannot grow shorter than that. So that is the mean width, the minimum width. Now, if I, okay, let me clear my screen first. If I go back here, right, you will observe, like I said, is the content width, right? Content width. If I go back to my code, if I make this guy, let me give this container a width so that we see what we are dealing with. Let's say, let me give it a border of 2 pixels, solid. Mute yourself, please. Solid black. Solid black. Now, let's see. That is a container. Now, if I now items, okay, phone weight, okay. Now, if I now increase if I give it an initial width of flex basis, you can see from here, flex basis is what? On the flex item. Always remember, confirm which property is it. Is it on the container or the item? So if I go to the item, each of the item, which is items, this one. If I say flex basis of, say, 200 pixel, for example, look at what happened. It has increased in size. In fact, let me reduce it. Let me reduce it to 100 so that I want to see her. Now, this is the initial width given. And because I did not specify flex grow, the width is not growing. Let me use an annotation. It's not growing to fill the entire width of this container. It's just maintaining that 100 pixel, 100 pixel, 100 pixel from here, 100, 100, 100, and so on, 100, like that, 100 pixel. That is the initial width given to the flex items. If I decide to increase it a bit to 150, let's say this is 150, you will see it increasing. Now, let me reduce my viewport. Please watch the size of this. Watch the container and the content. Nothing is happening. The items are not shrinking because there's still space between them and the container. Let me push it further. Can you see something? The items shrunk because the default behavior, the default is that flex shrink is set to 1. That is the default. If I go further, you can see it's shrinking. It's shrinking. It will shrink until it will now get to the minimum width, which is the width of the content. Let me continue. To continue to shrink, it will shrink to a point that it will start overflowing. Except I cannot shrink it further with my browser. Okay, I can't shrink further with my browser. So this is the minimum my browser can shrink to. But the point is, you can see that the items got shrunk by default. Now, let's go back. Let's do something. Let's go and set that flex shrink to 0. Since default is 1, right? By default, flex shrink is always set to 1 because it is expected that it will shrink. So let's see again what will happen. You can see now it's overflowing. Why? Because it is no longer shrinking. It's no longer shrinking. We have lost the violet. We have lost indigo. We have lost blue. Okay, green is about to be lost, but almost lost. You can see. So flesh, I say flesh, flex, shrink, by default is set to 1. If I change it back to 1 now, you will see it will shrink. Everything will shrink. The violet is back. So by default, that is why if you check here, let me see whether now as default, you can see default value. Let me highlight it. Default value is 1 for flex shrink. Similarly, for flex grow, default is 0. That is why when we set that flex basis, the items did not grow to meet up. It did not grow to meet up with the container. So let me increase the viewport again. You can see it's not growing to meet up with the container. But if I now set, let me clear the board. Clear. If I now change the default behavior of flex grow, if I set it to 1, flex grow to 1, it will grow to meet up. Every item will grow to meet up with the what? The container. Because it is designed that each of the item auto increase your width automatically to meet up with your container, and the size is distributed evenly among all the items. Is there any question? Is there any question? I've lost my audience. Is there any question?
No, sir.
No, no question. Okay. So now you have seen what flex basis is doing, what flex shrink is doing, and what flex grow is doing. So flex is now the shorthand for these 3 properties. As you can see here, flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis. So by default, right, flex grow is set to 0, flex shrink is set to a 1, which is default, and flex basis auto. I think auto, okay, let's see what auto is. I cannot remember what other auto is myself. So let us see. Let's remove all this. Comment out. Auto. I think all that auto should be to increase, either to increase to the width of the container auto or the content width. Where is it? Aha. Yes, it's the content width. That is auto. Auto. Flex basis auto. Now, so now that means that if I do flex here, flex property, flex grow is 0, flex shrink is 1, and auto. This is the default behavior. But I can comment this one out. So this is the default behavior. Now, if I change this flex grow to 1, it will increase. Flex, just this flex. Now, what if I now kind of change, just put this one to 1. Just this one. What does it mean? As you can see, 1 means grow to fill the entire width of the content. Then there's a ratio. There's a ratio going on here. Let me explain. Let's say you have this container and you have 3 items. I'm going to draw these items outside here. These are outside here, right? If you put flex 1, everything will have equal size, but it will grow to meet to fill the container the same size. This one will grow, this one will grow, and this one will grow to fill up the container. Remember, flex grow the container. It will fill up the container. Now, when I did 1, 2, and 3, or maybe 1, okay, let's say 1 and 2. So what we are saying is that this first one, your size should be half of this one. So that means that this one should grow 2 times the size of this one, and this one should grow 3 times the size of this one. So now let us go back to the code here. Now I'm going to remove, say, or comment out other items so that we can see the effect of what I'm about to see here. So let me remove others and leave the first 3 alone. So if I come here, you can see the 3 still grow, the 3 grow to fill the content. Now, if you go back and I decide to make it a ratio that, okay, I want this orange to be 2 times the size of this, and this one, I want it to be 3 times the size of this. So all I need to do is to give this one a flex of 1, flex of 2, flex of 3. So if I go back to the code and I do red, orange, and yellow, which is this one, remember it is the item properties. So flex, I want the red to be flex of 1, flex of 2, and flex of 3. If you go back to the code, no, something is wrong. It should change. Something, I'm not doing something right. Flex 1, flex 2, flex 3. Oh, it's item now. Red, orange, yellow. Okay, I've already, okay, let me remove this one. This is, okay, I want to ask, why do I need to remove this one? Can somebody tell me? Why do I need to remove this one? Mary, why do I need to remove this one here, this declaration here? Why?
Because the difference for all the content.
Okay. Remember that CSS is cascading. So now, at this point in time, I declare 1, 2, and 3 for these 3 items. But when it got to this last style here, I'm still targeting everything here. Remember, this is items. So it's now saying, okay, now I'm changing everything back to 1. So this one will override everything here. So all this other one, they are of no effect because this one is there, cascading. So I'm going to delete this one now. If I go back to the code, you can see that this one is twice the size of this, and yellow is twice, 3 times the size of this. And everything grow to fill up what the container. Is there any question on flex now?
No, sir.
Okay. So now what I did there over there was that, remember, the direction of my container was we use column there, right? Aha. If I go back, okay, and I need to column flex basis. Aha. Hold on, let me see what's going on here. Flex, a column. Yes, it's column issue. Okay, let me see. Let me increase the height of the. Is there a way, anywhere I have specified any height? Let me see. No height anywhere. Okay, let me give this container height. Height, say 600 pixels. Just, yes. Now you can see that this one is 2 times the size of this, and this is 3 times the size of it. But why am I having gap? Why am I having gap? Did I use any gap somewhere, or did I? Let me see. Is there any margin somewhere? There should not be any gap. Let me comment this one out first. That's not the effect. Why am I having gap? Undo. I'm trying to see, why am I having gap? Column, container. Oh. Okay. I will need to confirm that. You know, why this gap? It should join. Let me see. I didn't specify gap now. Okay, let me see something. Gap 0. Is it a browser thing or what? I don't know. It's strange. There should not be any gap there anyway. Okay, but now I hope it is clear. Now this one is 1, this is 2, this is 3. But in case maybe you saw something outside such that 1 is, say, this other one is like 1.5 of this, right? Like this one is like 1.5 of this. Says no, this one is 1, and this one is 1.5 times this size of this, and this one is 1, right? Now there's no way I can specify flex 1.5. No, there's no way. It's always, it must be it must be integer. So from your ratio in mathematics, if you see one ratio, this 3/2 ratio 1, you cannot leave fraction in your ratio. What you do is you multiply everything by 2, right? 2 times 1, 2 times 3/2, then 2 times 1 here. So this one will give you 2, and then this one will give you 3, and this one will give you 2. They are still the same ratio, right? So it must be integer, and that is the reason why I did what I gave them that ratio of 2, 3, 1, because I saw that the middle one is about 1.5 the size of others, right? So all I need to do then is just to now change their flex to 2, then 3, and 2. So the red and yellow will be of the same size, but the orange will be bigger in size, as you can see. Is there any question? Time is fast spent. Any question?
No, sir.
All right,
No,
thank you so
sir.
much. So I'm going to send this recording also as usual. All right. See you on
Thank you, sir.
Saturday. Yeah.